Good evening, everybody. How are we? Are we ready for this? I'm not sure I'm ready for 2 nights in a row. Go. Were they good? Were they as you were expecting? Hi, are. Good omens. Love that, whoever's name that is. It went good. I'm so pleased. Yeah, no, tonight is free for everybody. Everybody, I'm streaming this on YouTube. I'm also streaming this on TikTok. So I'm trying to keep up with comments on both. Don't be nervous for exams. You'll be absolutely fine. I think, look, it's one of those. If you're well prepared, then you'll find it okay. And chances are, remember, the grade boundaries get set after you've sat the exam. So don't worry too much about the exam itself. You've just got to be better than everyone else in the country, right? Predicted Bell for a Christmas Carol, and it was amazing. Yeah, it'll probably save automatically to YouTube. So therefore, yeah, I think I'll just leave it up there. Yeah, I think I'll leave it up so you'll be able to watch this later, although you'll probably want to skip through these first 10 minutes of me just chattering on. Same paper for hire. I think it's a really tricky one, November 2018, personally. I think it's really hard. So a good one to do. Prepare us. Worst case scenario. So November 2018, foundation from 7 till 8, hire from 8 till 9. I will do my best to get through as much of the hire paper as we can. Oh, I love that. Do you know what? At my school, someone said to me today they went to London and they saw one of my maths papers on the floor, and I couldn't believe it. I can't believe how many of you guys have found them helpful and how many of you have done them. It's been incredible. I mean, not my papers anyway, they're first class maths paper. And yeah, I just filmed it. But yeah, amazing that you found them helpful. I mean, he's got more on his website. You should go and check them out if you haven't already. The YouTube video said Poverty and Scrooge. I'm really well, thank you. How are you guys? I hope your exams have gone well so far. So streaming on TikTok, streaming on YouTube, streaming on both today, which is stressing me out slightly because I'm trying to keep up with both the chats. If you're not already subscribed on YouTube, go and subscribe. But you can watch on either TikTok, YouTube. It's all going to be the same. So hopefully, yeah. Hopefully that's helpful no matter what. So what did come up on English? Although I guess you're all different exam boards, aren't you? And how are we feeling for maths? So I won't start until 7 o'clock. Foundation is from 7 to 8. Higher is from 8 till 9. And I'm going to do another paper tomorrow. So same again tomorrow, which feels absolutely bonkers. And I just really hope that my voice is going to make it to then, to be honest. Same again tomorrow, which just feels crazy. But if it's helpful, it's helpful. So hopefully you will all find it helpful. I think tomorrow night and tonight are going to be a bit mad in the comments, so you'll have to keep it in check for me. Austin's normally in charge, so if Austin says something, pay attention. He's in charge. Have a history exam tomorrow. Oh yeah, of course. So history is tomorrow, isn't it? Yeah, see you at 8. If you're doing the higher paper, you can just come and join back at 8. So if you head over, I tried to make people moderator and I couldn't work it. So my husband's moderating. That's fine. Someone just asked me something I've completely forgotten. It's gone so quick. Oh yeah, history. Yeah. So if you're revising for history, don't worry. This will be on YouTube, and also I will do the same again tomorrow night. So I'll be on tomorrow. You can download this paper from Maths Genie. It's probably the easiest place to get it. Great, Kian on at 8. Okay, cool. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. We can do it. You can absolutely do it. I will be live tomorrow as well for my sins. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I will be live tomorrow as well. I actually haven't got, no one suggested a paper to do tomorrow. So if you've got an idea for what you want to do tomorrow, let me know. And maybe drop me a comment or drop me a message. How do you do well on the grade 5 questions on foundation? That's such a good question. So I think having done the past papers and have a look at the sort of thing that comes up lots. So at the end of the foundation paper, you're probably going to get exact values, maybe some rearranging the subject, highest common factor, lowest common multiple, those sorts of things, prime factorization, those sorts of things. Also, if you have a look on Maths Genie, if you go on GCSE revision, there's lots by topic, and really focusing on the grade 5 section will be really good. Yeah, so I will upload this. This should save to my YouTube once I'm done, hopefully. Do surds come up often? So Maka, on the higher paper, I'm expecting some surds on Friday. Yes, very much so. Surds is probably one of the most common questions on the non-calculator paper, just because they don't want you to have a calculator when you've got a surd, right? No, Robin, this was the one that that was requested for today, 2018, and this was the one I posted on Twitter that I would be doing. But I haven't got a paper for tomorrow, so if you want me to do 2019 tomorrow, I can absolutely do that. Taylor said 2019 tomorrow. There you go. Look, the subs are sorting me out. Paper 2 is going to be a struggle, but we've got ages till paper 2. We've got absolutely ages for paper 2. We've got till the 7th of June. So let's just get the non-calculator out the way. All of the things that we think are likely for the non-calculator, and then we'll worry about the calculator paper after, yeah? We'll worry about that after. Maths Genie sample paper. I've not done that. That sounds like a good shout. I'd probably have to get Maths Genie's permission. Does anyone know Maths Genie? Should we give him a tweet? Maths Genie sample paper. Let me have a look at it and let me see if I can get permission for it, because I don't want to go through anything without asking people. So what should you revise for? He has a flying carpet. What should you revise for the foundation paper? So First Class Maths has made a predicted paper. And at the start of those predicted papers, there are topics. There's a list of topics that come up lots. So if you go to First Class Maths' website, let's just have a quick, I'll show you, look. If you go to First Class Maths' website, there we go, there it is. I'm already on it. You've got all the papers there. So you've got the AQA predicted papers and you've got the Edexcel predicted papers. They're on First Class Maths' website. I've already filmed, so he's filmed the solutions to the A's. I filmed the solution to the B's. And if you go on Edexcel Foundation and you scroll down to the second page, that is a perfect list of what to revise for foundation for Friday. So he hasn't done OCR because it's only about 5% of schools in the UK that actually use OCR. I'm very sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but you are in the minority. But if you are doing OCR, I would say that it would be a very good idea to do both the Edexcel and the AQA one, because then I think you've covered all bases, right? I don't think it's a bad idea. So if you are doing foundation and you're doing Edexcel, these are the topics that First Class Maths is predicting will come up. And he's been very right before. He's been very right in the past. So screenshot that if you want to know what to revise. Thank you so much for subscribing and supporting my channel. And there are the other ones. So if you look, the paper is on the 19th and he's looking to get the next ones out on the 20th and the 21st, which is absolutely crazy. And then I'll be hopefully filming the tutorials to the paper B's. So there we go. But paper we're going to do tonight, November 2018. The website from Jazz, the website is First Class Maths. You'll probably know because your teachers have probably given you those papers these weeks. And if they haven't, where have they been? So 3 minutes till we're starting. Grab yourself some paper. How come in England you have, for example, maths paper 1? It's gone too quick. I don't know. Thanks, Hannah. Your account is great. Oh, thank you so much. No money. Absolutely free. Absolutely free. Paper A, paper B, it's just 2 versions. So you get 2 papers to practice. He just made an extra one so that I could film one, which is very kind of him. What app is this? This is PDF Viewer. What paper am I doing tomorrow? Lily, I have not decided. Oh, no, wait, Taylor. What did Taylor say? 2019. Taylor, is it November 2019 or June 2019? Oh, he said he didn't mind, actually, if I remember correctly. I feel like tomorrow is going to be June 2019. The website is First Class Maths. So 1ST, like First Class Maths. He's got all the predicted papers up there. The paper A's, he's filmed the tutorials too on YouTube, and the paper B's are on my YouTube, and you can go and have a watch at me doing them there. What's the difference between AQA Higher and AQA Foundation? So Higher, you'll know, or you should know, if you're being entered for the higher paper, that's grade 4 and above, grade 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And if you're doing foundation, that's grades 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. OCR is less popular. I don't know. Maybe because there is just less resources out there. So if you're a teacher, you probably want to use Edexcel because there's loads of stuff online to help students with Edexcel and AQA. It will probably say on your school website. I'm just starting. 7 o'clock I'm starting. It is 6:59. Thank you, guys. Looking at the website right now. What chat am I reading more? Honestly, I'm like, well, this is the thing. I think a lot of students have deleted TikTok. A lot of students have deleted TikTok. So I didn't want to just stream on TikTok. I want to stream on both. There is currently 1,200 people watching on TikTok and 60 of you watching on YouTube. So way more comments going on TikTok at the minute, but thank you for the likes on YouTube. That's amazing. And if you've got it on both, that's great, because then you can kind of, see all the comments that's going on. You never delete TikTok. You guys, I mean, yeah. Right, shall we begin? It's 7 o'clock. So a reminder that we are starting at the beginning of the foundation paper. So if this seems quite straightforward and easy, that's okay. It should be, okay? It should be. But for some people, it won't be. So please don't say in the comments, oh my goodness, I can do this. This is so easy, because some people can't. Always be kind, always be supportive, and thinking of other people's feelings as we go through this. That would be fantastic. Thank you so much. Right, question number 1. And this is a classic first page question on foundation. Write the following numbers in order of size. So we're comparing the decimals. Now, every single one of these decimals has 0 in the ones column. So that's not going to help me. Moving over to the tenths column, I've got a 4, I've got a 0, I've got a 3, I've got a 1, and I've got a 2. Which of those is the smallest? That's going to be 0.02. Yeah, higher will be at 8 o'clock, so feel free to come back then. 0.02, that is your smallest. Now, I like to cross them off as we go through, just so that we don't miss any. Okay, and then I've got 0.152, that's my next one, because a 1 in that column is the next smallest. The other digits really don't matter, okay? And then you've got a 2, 0.2, and then 0.37, and then 0.4. Now, if that doesn't make sense and you're finding that quite tricky, my recommendation would be to write all the numbers out on top of each other: 0.37, 0.152, and 0.2. And if you fill in zeros everywhere where there are any gaps, it is way easier to compare, because you guys are used to seeing numbers like that. So then you can think of it as 20, 152, 200. I mean, you shouldn't think of it like that, because that's terrible teaching on my part, but I just think it's easier to see. So either way, whatever you do, yeah, this is November 2018, paper 1 Edexcel. Exactly. If that's how you do it and you find that easier, go for it. Whatever works for you. Okay, right, 0.6 as a percentage. So 0.6, let's start by writing it as a fraction. And 0.6 is 6 in the tenths column. So it's 6 over 10. That is 6 tenths. 6 in the tenths column is 0.6. Now that simplifies to be 3/5. But that's not helpful. In this case, we want it as a percentage, so we want it to be out of 100. If we are making the denominator out of 100, we've times the bottom by 10. We also need to times the top by 10. So that is 60 out of 100, and therefore it's 60%. Someone said, I can't believe people are actually enjoying this. Wow. I mean, you did comment, so thank you for boosting the numbers. Here are a list of numbers: 3, 5, 7, 12, 15, 18, and 20. From the list, write down a factor of 10. So factors are the numbers that fit in. Factors fit in. For multiples, you multiply. People always get them the wrong way round. So for multiples, you multiply. Factors fit in. A factor of 10 would be 5. Another factor of 10, not on the list: 1, 2, 5, 10. All of those are factors of 10. If I asked you for a multiple of 10, it's going to be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, things like that. Okay. So they are multiples. Factors fit in. So 5 is a factor. You can't have any others there. That's it. Write down 7,829 to the nearest 1,000. So this is my thousands column. But we can't just write that. We need to check the next number. And because the next number is an 8, it rounds up. So that's going to be 8,000. Is that better, YouTube? Oh, now it's no, now it's blurred. There you go. You'll have to have that. That's about in the middle. Okay, work out 3 times 5, add 7. Now, I'm not a big fan of this question, because I think even if you got it wrong, you got it right. Because this is a bid maths question, right? This is testing your ability to do bid maths. But the problem is, if you didn't do bid maths, you got the same answer either way. So I would say that this is a bad question, and they probably should have tested. They should have given it to you like this, because then I think some people that didn't know bid maths would have got it wrong. right? So what's important is that you need to do the multiplication bit first. So 3 times 5 is 15, add the 7 is 22. Even if it was that way round, that bit is the most important bit. So that's going to be 22 altogether. That's my answer. And then 2 to the power of 3, what does that mean? 2 to the power of 3 is 2 cubed. That means 2 times 2 times 2. So it's not 6. If we're thinking 2 times 2, that's 4. And then multiply that by 2 and we get 8. 2 cubed is 8. Okay, write brackets in this statement to make it correct. Write brackets in this statement to make it correct. Well done on YouTube. Yep, you're correct. It is 8. Well done. This is Edexcel. Yep, I will work all the way through the paper and get to the end of the paper. Don't you worry. 7 times 2, add 3. And we need to add brackets to make this correct. Where are you putting the brackets, everybody? Where are you putting those brackets? The paper is on Maths Genie. You can download it. There. It's Edexcel November 2018, paper 1. Good. So everyone's saying putting the brackets around the 2, add the 3. It's then going to be 7 times 5, which does indeed get you 35. Well done, everybody. Wonderful. Right. Cats. Cat food. Who comes up with these questions? Sue has 2 cats. Each cat eats a quarter of a tin of cat food each day. Sue buys 8 tins of cat food. Has Sue bought enough cat food to feed her 2 cats for 14 days? Now, there's lots of different ways to do this. If you just write yes or you just write no, you're not going to get any marks, okay? You cannot just write that and get any marks. Saying that now, just so that you all know. So Sue has 2 cats. Each cat eats a quarter of a tin of cat food each day. Sue buys 8 tins. So if she's got 2 cats, we're going to need a quarter for the first cat and a quarter for the second cat, and that is 2 quarters. So that is a half. So each day, we're using up half a tin. Each day, we're using up only a quarter. The cat must be starving. I mean, writing that's not going to get you any marks. But 2 cats, so half a tin each day. If we've got 8 tins, now you can actually, don't be scared in your GCSE to draw out what that looks like. If you find this helpful, then do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if we've got half a tin each day, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that is enough to last 16 days. The maths behind that is we're saying I've got 8 tins and we're dividing it into halves. Now we know that when we divide by a fraction, we keep, change, flip. So that's going to be 8 times 2, 2 over 1. So it lasts for 16 days. So then we need to answer their question. We're only going to get 2 marks at the minute because we haven't answered the question. And the question said, has Sue bought enough cat food to feed her cats for 14 days? So yes, it will last 16 days. So we've answered the question nice and clearly, and we've shown our working there as well. The cat is definitely starving, but they've got enough. Yeah, higher starts at 8 o'clock, 7 till 8 for foundation, and 8 till 9 for higher. Okay, and then we've got a pictogram, another really common topic. There are only, I feel like I've done so many pictograms on TikTok and YouTube the last few weeks. There are only apple trees, cherry trees, pear trees, and plum trees in an orchard. The pictogram shows information about the number of apple trees, cherry trees, and pear trees in the orchard. And we've got the key over here. So important that you have a key. Even if you've got to do one and there's no key, pop a key in. You need a key. So we've got 1 box represents 4 trees. So that's 4, that's 4, and that's 4. That's 4, and that quarter is going to represent 1 tree. And then we've got 4 here and 2 here. And it says there is a total of 30 trees in the orchard. So we can see that at the minute they've said there are 12 apple trees. They've said there are 5 cherry trees. And they've said there are 6 pear trees. That adds up to 23. 6 add 5 add 2 is 13. Carry the 1. And we've got 23. So we now know that there are going to be 7. Yes, well done, everybody in the comments. 7 plum trees. This is paper 1, yeah. So I'm going to draw a 4. I know that a box is going to get me 4. And then I need to draw an extra 3 trees, what would that look like? Now, I had some students that were showing me this and they said, oh, I would just do the 2 and then do the 1. That is not going to get you the marks, okay? That is not going to get you the marks. You need to make it one shape and we need it to represent 3. So that's going to be like that. That is the shape for 3. I'm wondering if it's too bright still. I'm trying to make it right for everybody. Bit better. Okay, question number 8. Write down the coordinates of A. Right, go, go, go in the comments. What is A? What is the coordinates of A? What is the coordinates of A? A. Go, go, go. So half of you are going to put -2, -1, and half of you are going to put -1, -2. Let's see which way round you will go. And now you've all seen what everyone else has put, so now you're going to say the same. Right, good. We go along the corridor, up the stairs, along the corridor, up the stairs. So if you're going -2 across and then down 1, so it's -2, -1. It's got brighter, if anything, hasn't it? Oh, it's really annoying. On the grid, mark with a cross the point 2, 3. So the point 2, 3 is 2 across and 3 up. So 2 across and 3 up is going to be here. And we're going to label that with a B. Now, when I mark GCSE papers, often I'll get students putting the B like that on the actual mark. Don't do that. Just put it off to one side. I'm so sorry. I don't know whether if I turn the lights off in the room, whether that will help or not. I don't know. On the grid, draw the line with equation x equals -4. So I was doing this with my students today, actually. X equals -4. So can you all give me a coordinate, please, with an x coordinate of -4? Can you give me a coordinate with x -4? Right. Oh, did it help? I don't think it helped. Hang on a minute. No, that didn't make any difference. Never mind. On the grid, draw a line with equation x equals -4. Give me an equation with an x coordinate -4. Right, so fun edit said -4, 2. Let's go -4, 2. That would be there. Someone said -4, 1. Someone said -4, -2. Someone said -4, 5. Someone said -4, -4. And look what is happening. All of the coordinates that have an x coordinate of -4 make a line. And that line is called x equals -4. So that is where it needed to go, okay? All of the x coordinates on that line are -4, exactly. We're going through -4 on the x-axis. So well done if you got that. It's quite confusing because the x-axis goes this way. So people think if the x-axis is going this way, then, but it's that way, it's that. Okay, fabulous. Next question. And we've got substitution. So it says G is 9 and H is 4. Work out the value of 2G, add 3H. So this is nice. We've not even got any negatives here. What you just need to remember is that 2G means 2 times G. And then we're adding on 3H, which means 3 times H. So 2 lots of G means 2 lots of 9, and that is 18. And we're adding on 3 lots of H, and 3 lots of H means 3 lots of 4, and that is 12. 18, add 12. Yes, Ibra, well done. It is 30. Well done. Good job, Zoe. Well done. Yep, user 101, days, good omens. Brilliant. Well done, everybody. That is indeed 30. Great. Then we've got to write down 2 prime numbers that have a sum of 32. Now, sum just means to add them. So the sum is when we add them. Let's write down all the prime numbers. So the first prime number, if I ask you in the comments what the first prime number is, what is the first prime number? Don't do it. Don't fall into my trap. What is the first prime number? Go, 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 go. What is the first prime number? Yes, Lily. Yes, yep. Good from Jazz, good M, good R, wonderful. Yes, it is 2, not 1. Okay, good. Well done. Your teachers have trained you well. 1 is not a prime number. So you've got 2, 3, 5, 7, not 9. 9 is in the 3 times table, so that's no good. We're looking for numbers that are only in the 1 times table and their own times table. So 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19. Now, in the 20s, this comes up on foundation so much. They ask you for a prime number in the 20s. So the 2 that are in the 20s are 23 and 29. Right. Can you now pick 2 of those that sum or add to make 32? 2 of those numbers, please, that add to make 32. This is so helpful for some reason. Wow. I do try. I do try. Yes, 29 and 3. Bex, well done. Liv saying 29 and 3. Someone saying 13 and 19. Yeah, so that would work. We could do 13 add 19. We could do 29 add, wait, what did I say? 29 add 3. Any others? Can't do 21 and 11 because 21 isn't a prime number. Amazing. Cool. So either of those. Wonderful. Great. Well done, everybody. So either of those would have been absolutely fine. Right. Here are some fractions. One of these fractions is not equivalent to 3/4. So remember, for equivalent fractions, whatever you've times the bottom by, you've also got to times the top by as well. So if I've multiplied the bottom by 3 to get 12, I also need to times the top by 3, and that's 9. So that is the same. If for this fraction, I've times the denominator, the bottom number, by 2, I also need to times the top number by 2, and that's 6. So that one's equivalent, that one's equivalent. With this fraction, I've times the denominator by 6, so I also need to times the numerator by 6, and that is 18. So that one is equivalent as well. For the next one, I've times the denominator by 4, but if I times 3 by 4, I get 12. So that's no good. I get 12, so that's no good. So that one is not equivalent. And let's just check the last one. I've times the denominator by 5, so I also need to times the numerator, the top number, by 5, and that would be 15. So all of the rest are equivalent, and I'm happy that the one that we need to give as our answer here is going to be 10 out of 16. You can go the other way and cancel them all down, but ultimately, whatever you do to the bottom, you also need to do to the top. Right, here we go. And I'm convinced, I'm absolutely convinced, you're either going to get add, subtract, multiply, or divide. So let's just recap them all. Well, we'll do this one first and then I'll talk you through them all. Yeah, I'm live on TikTok and YouTube right now. 128 of you on YouTube and 1,200 of you on TikTok. But I wanted to go live on both because I feel like some people have deleted TikTok because it's a distraction, let's be honest. Although if they're listening to me, TikTok, we love you. So when we're adding fractions, you need to make the denominators the same. Now, some of you are going to say butterfly method to me and you're all good. I will do that for you in just a second, okay? So that's fine. With this, I'm going to make them out of 12. And the reason I'm picking 12 is because 12 is the first number that's in the 12 times table and the 6 times table. I'm answering questions on both because I don't know. I'm doing a paper and I'm answering, I don't know. Because I'm a teacher and we're used to it operating at like 3 times the speed. I've done nothing to the bottom of this one, so I'm going to do nothing to the top as well. With this fraction, I've times the bottom by 2, so to keep it equivalent, we also need to times the top by 2, and then we can add them. And that is 11 out of 12. And that method is the same for subtracting as well. Now, some of you are going to be saying, but miss, what about the upside down picnic bench? And some of you are going to be thinking, she's lost her mind and gone mad. So I know that a lot of you will have just been taught to do this times this times this, and this times this. And that is absolutely fine. That works perfectly if you are adding or subtracting. So to do that, you're going to do 6 times 1, which is 6, 12 times 5, which is 60. We're adding, so that goes together, all over 12 times 6, which is 72. And that is 66 over 72, but they're both in the 6 times table. To be honest, you could leave your answer like that because it hasn't told you to simplify, but just to show you it is the same, that is 11 over 12. So it doesn't matter, right? Either of those methods, whichever one you prefer. Some people prefer that. Some people prefer that. It does not matter, okay? Whichever one you like. Where did 60 come from? Because I did 12 times 6. So I've always called this the timesing TP because I think it looks like that tent, like a little teepee, like a little wigwam thing, right? That's what I've always called it. But some people call it the butterfly method, and someone on here the other week called it an upside down picnic bench, and I can't unsee it now, so we'll call it the picnic method. But you're timesing, yeah? So you're doing that times that, that times that, that times that, and that will work for adding or subtracting, but you'll need to make the fractions like top heavy or just single fractions first. Where did the 2 come from? What 2? I can't see a 2. Yes, I'll be online tomorrow. If the first method seemed easier, Ibra, then just go with that. Absolutely. Do whatever method fits you best. That is the beauty of maths. Now, we are going to use those methods for adding or subtracting. Either adding or subtracting, you're doing that. If you are asked to multiply, then you will thank your lucky stars for the nicest GCSE question in the world. Because all you need to do for timesing is the top times the top and the bottom times the bottom. So that would just be 6 over 20. Which would be 3 over 10. I've just made this question up, by the way. That's not a continuation of the question. I'm just making it up. And then if you're dividing, so let's say the question was 5 over 8 divided by 3/4, then we think about our chicken. And we do keep, change, flip. So dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. And the reciprocal is when you flip it upside down. And that would be 20 over 24 or 10 over 12 or 5 over 6. Does that make sense? So adding and subtracting, you have to make the denominators the same. Timesing, top times top, bottom times bottom. And dividing, keep, change, flip. Keep, change, flip. Okay, question number 12. Tom uses his lorry to deliver bricks. You can use this graph to find the delivery cost for different distances. So this is a graph. We can read off the graph. You will absolutely all just do well if you revise. That's it. And you've got to try your best. Try every question, okay? So Tom uses his lorry to deliver bricks. For each delivery, there's a fixed charge. Now, a fixed charge is basically Tom's not getting out of bed for nothing, guys, right? Tom is not getting out of bed for nothing. He wants you to pay him before he's done any work, which is fair enough. So how much is Tom charging you just to turn up and kind of do that delivery? How much is he charging you? How much is he charging you for that? Yes, Jaden, well done. Daisy May, yeah, well done. Yeah, this is November 2018. Stop talking, I can't hear. Oh. I'll tell him off. And then part B, work out the difference between the 2 delivery costs. Why is it 10? Because it's this value here, okay? This is 10 here. This is the fixed charge. So this is how much it costs before he's even started charging you. So every time we do a mile, it's going up a little bit higher. So Tom's going to charge you more and more the more it goes up, right? So every 10 miles, he's going to charge you extra. Every 10 miles, he's going to charge you extra like this. It's going up and up. But even if he only does 0 miles, it costs £10. Okay? So Tom makes 2 deliveries of bricks. The distance of one delivery is 20 miles more than the distance of the other delivery. Work out the difference. Now, they've not told you how much, but it doesn't matter. You can just pick 2 values that are 20 miles apart. So you can just pick 2 values that are 20 miles apart. If you want, you could pick 20 and you could pick 40. Or you could pick 0 and 20, or you could pick 10 and 30, or you could pick 30 and 50. It doesn't matter. We're going to go across then. So a 20-mile delivery costs £40, and a 40-mile delivery costs £70. So the difference in how much that's going to cost you is the difference between 70 and 40. So that is costing an extra £30. And it didn't matter where you drew it. I'm going to do 70, take away 40. It doesn't matter where you draw it, because we can see that for every 10 miles across, it's gone up by 15. So for every 10 miles across, it's gone up by 15. So 20 miles is going to be 30 no matter what. This paper is on Maths Genie. It's November 2018, paper 1. Well done, Coco Chanel. Imagine if that was the real Coco Chanel. No, okay. Well done. Yeah, good. Everybody's got that. Wonderful. Yeah, good. Lovely. Let's move on. Question number 13. I feel like I've done this question 3,000 times. Asmol, Ryan and Kim each played a game. Asmol's score was 4 times Ryan's score, and Kim's score was half of Asmol's score. Write down the ratio of Asmol's score to Ryan's score to Kim's score. So if they give you no numbers and they're saying write down the ratio, you could honestly pick anything and it doesn't matter. I would always start with the person who scored the least. That's going to be easy, okay? And then give him 1 or give her 1, whatever it is. So Asmol's score was 4 times Ryan's score. So Asmol got more than Ryan. And Kim's score was half of Asmol's score. So I think Ryan's got the least here. So let's say Ryan got 1 point. Now we've got to write down the ratio of Asmol to Ryan to Kim. So let's say Ryan got 1 point. In that case, oh no, Asmol's score was 4 times Ryan. Ignore me. Let's say, oh yeah, Ryan got the least. Asmol's score was 4 times Ryan's score. So that Asmol must have got 4 points. Kim's score was half of Asmol's score. And that's it, you're done. That is it for that question. It's a really rogue one. I feel like if you knew what you were doing, that was great. And you got yourself 2 marks. If you didn't, whatever. Now, you might not have given Ryan a point. You might have just randomly said, let's say Asmol got 10 points and gone from there. But no matter what, your ratio, if it was correct, would have simplified to that. It's a question that a lot of you, I think, would have skipped past. But actually, this is why we say to you, have a go. You could give him 1 point. You could give him 10 points. Should we give Ryan 10? Or let's give Asmol 100 points, just because we can. If Asmol's got 100 points, it was 4 times Ryan's score, so then we've got to give Ryan 25. And Kim's score was half of Asmol's score, so then she'd have to get 50. And even if you wrote that on the answer line, you're still going to get full marks. It didn't tell you to simplify it. But if you did simplify it, you'd get 4 to 1 to 2. Okay, fabulous. Question number 14. Oh, my least favourite sentence on a maths question. Give a reason for each stage you're working. So I'm going to have to write quite a lot here. So this is going to be 4 or 5 marks, 4. And 2 of those marks are going to be for the maths. And 2 of the marks are going to be for our reasons, okay? So if you only do the maths on this question, you're saying goodbye to 2 marks. So you're going to need to write these down as well. Okay, so we know this is a kite. It says ABCD is a kite. And in a kite, when you have a kite shape, these 2 angles are always equal. And that's so that your kite doesn't fly around in circles. No, I don't know, but that's why I say it. So these 2 angles in a kite are always the same. The top one might be different and the bottom one might be different, but those 2 are going to be the same. I'm going to start by getting this angle here, and I'm going to say that angle is 50 degrees. So I'm going to write angle BCD. BCD is 50 degrees. Why do I know that it's 50 degrees? How do I know that's 50 degrees? It's not alternate. It's not corresponding. Don't skip the question. At the very least, draw some angles on, because when we mark GCSE papers, we're always told to have a look at the picture. And if you've drawn any angles on that are correct, we can still give you marks. So if they're drawn on here, even if you don't know how to do it, just draw some angles on, because if they're correct, you're going to get it. Good. Opposite angles are equal. So that's my first reason. Opposite angles are equal. There we go. Next one, I'm going to do this angle now. What would that be? Angles on a straight line add up to 180. Now, you can't include this one. This one does not get included, okay? It's just here, these 2 together. So Jess, what you've done is you've added the 100 and the 75, but this is not with this one, okay? Really well done for having a go. When we do angles on a straight line, I marked thousands of papers and so many of people did that. It's just at this point. This one makes 180 over here. Even though they're on the straight line, that one has nothing to do with this one here. So we're just going to do 180, take away 75, and that is 105. Well done, goat. You don't have a username, just a goat, which is cool. So angle ADC is 105 degrees, and that's because angles on a straight line add up to 180. Now, if it's a kite, we've said that these two angles would have to be the same. How can I now find out what this angle needs to be? Yes, Jessie T, perfect answer. To get that angle, I know that angles in a quadrilateral add up to 360. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That is a four-sided shape, a quadrilateral, and the angles in a quadrilateral need to add up to 360. Good, Emma, well done. So I'm going to do 360, or I'm going to add them first. 100, add 105, add 50. That is going to be 255. 360 minus 255, more on the floor, borrow from next door, is 105 degrees. Oh, look, it's the same. So therefore, we're going to say angle ABC is 105 degrees. Angles in a quadrilateral add to 360. Therefore, now we're lazy in maths, so if you want to say therefore, you can just do little threes, do 3 little dots. Therefore, angle ABC equals angle ADC, so ABCD is a kite. What a mean question on the foundation paper. But here are my top tips, right? If that all seems massively overwhelming, which it quite often will, the very, very least you can do, I just want you to look at the picture and I want you to think to yourself, what do I know here? Because I bet almost all of you know that angles on a straight line add up to 180. And I bet almost all of you know that that one's 50. So you might have been able to just fill in some angles and that might have got you a mark or two. The first 105 came from the fact that angles on a straight line add up to 180. Can you say angles in a four-sided shape? Yes. If you forget quadrilateral, but don't forget quadrilateral. Yes, you'll get marks for identifying angles. So the answer is they just wanted you to prove it was a kite. And we've shown it's a kite because those two angles are the same. Thank you so much, guys, for tapping the screen. I'm hoping this reaches as many Year 11s as possible before Friday. Okay, Shahid is going to use these instructions to make a fizzy drink. Mix 5 parts of orange juice with 2 parts of lemonade. Shahid thinks that he has 300 mils of orange juice and 200 mils of lemonade. If Shahid is correct, what is the greatest amount of fizzy drink he can make? So just like ratio, for these questions, I like to do little lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's for my OJ. And then 1, 2, that's for my lemonade. Now, if I want to do the most drink I possibly can, oh, someone said, what are the grade boundaries? Let's look on MathSpot. So MathSpot grade boundaries is one of my favourite places to go for grade boundaries. MathSpot grade boundaries. And then you can just change to whatever year you're looking at. We are doing Edexcel, we are doing 2018, and we are doing November. So for the foundation paper, you've got to divide these by 3, mind, because we're only doing 1 paper. So for a 4 on this paper, you needed 44 marks out of 80. For a 4 on this paper, you needed 44 marks out of 80. For a 5, you needed 56-ish. Someone just called me, Layla, don't call me Kettle. Oi, Kettle. Screenshot the last question. Yeah, go. If you didn't get it, there you go. Quick. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They're all at it now. Right. Question 15. Now we want the most drink that we can make. If I'm trying to make the most drink possible, with my lemonade, I could take the 200 mils and I could say, right, well, if I do 200 mils divided by 2, I'm going to get 100 mils on this one and 100 mils on this one. But because we're working with a ratio, if I've got 100 and 100, then they'd all have to be 100. And that would be 500 of orange juice. And I don't have enough orange juice for that. I've only got 300. So that's going to be no good. So the limiting factor here is the orange juice. So let's use as much orange juice as we can to make as much as we possibly can. So we're going to do 300 divided by 5 instead. And that's going to be 60, 60, 60, 60, and 60. 300 divided into 5 equal sections. So now I've used as much orange juice as I can. So if that's all 60s, then I've also got to do 60 and 60 of lemonade to make the recipe correct. I think he should just bung the rest of the lemonade in personally, but we've got to follow the recipe, guys. So the greatest amount of fizzy drink he can make is all of that added up to get the total. So he only had 300 ml of orange juice. So we wanted to try and use up all of that orange juice. So people asking, how did I get 300? So 300 is how much orange juice he had, and I wanted to use as much of it as possible. We're now going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lots of 60, and 7 times 60 is 420 mils. Well done if you said that. That was 3 marks, that question. Well done, everybody. Lovely. Now, Shahid has 300 mils of orange juice, but he only has 160 mils of lemonade. So he's actually looked in the cupboard and gone, oh, actually, I thought I had 200 mil, but actually I've only got 160. Does that affect the answer? Does that affect the most he can make? How much lemonade did we end up using? Well, we only ended up using the 60 and the 60. Okay, lots of you asking me why I put 60s on this line. So because this is a ratio, because I had to put 60s here, because that was 300 divided by 5, if these are 60s, the one rule we have with ratio is that all of the lines have to be the same amount. So if you're putting 60s on this side, these sides have to be 62, okay? So we've got 60, 60. So we actually only used 120 mils of lemonade. So if he's got 160, does that change our answer? No, it doesn't. So no, he only needs 120 mils of lemonade. So still has enough. Silly Shahid. Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, higher is 8 o'clock. It makes sense? Yeah, it's 2 parts lemonade. Thank you, Sarah. Wonderful. Well done. Yeah, I am doing a live tomorrow. I'm already on it. 7 to 8, 8 till 9 tomorrow as well. 7 to 8 for foundation, 8 till 9 for higher. Tomorrow, as always, we're going to do June 2019 tomorrow, apparently. Taylor said so. Here are 2 rectangles. Jim says the 2 rectangles are similar because 8 add 4 is 12 and 6 add 4 is 10. So they've done, Jim has done, he's added 4 to get that and he's added 4 to get that. So he said that this one is just a bigger version of this one. Is that correct or not? Is that correct or not? No, it's not. When we make a shape bigger, we don't add, we times it. Good. To enlarge a shape, so to make a shape bigger, you need to multiply by the same number. And 8 times by 1.5 is 12, and 6 times by 1.5 is 9. So that has not been multiplied by the same. So you just need to say, no, you need to multiply by the same number. It needs to be multiplying by the same number, not adding. So if I'm enlarging a shape, let's say I'm doing scale factor 2, if this side is 3, this side is 6. If this side is 5, this side is 10. So you're timesing by 2. So it has to be doubling there and doubling there. Okay, question number 17. Oh, can you imagine? We turn the page and that is what we see. What a beautiful question. Can you imagine? Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, if it's the opposite, you'd divide. Big divided by small is going to get you the scale factor. Exactly that. Well done, Mad King. Yeah, absolutely lovely. We love these questions. So 80 people are asked if they like coffee. 48 of these people are women. So I'm going to straight away put 48 there. We know we've got 48 women in this. If I've put 48 there, how many men must I have asked? Yes, this is Edexcel, but it's still going to be helpful for AQA, don't worry. All of the topics are pretty much the same. We're still going to be adding fractions, we're still going to be multiplying numbers, and we're still going to be doing frequencies and all of that good stuff. Good, 32 men. Well done, everybody saying I need to do 80 take away 48, and that is 32. Good, so I'm going to go ahead and fill that in now. It then says 61 of the 80 people like coffee. 61 people like coffee, but that's unhelpful to me at the minute because I don't know then how many of them go here and how many of them go here. But I know that between them, those two circles need to make 61 because 61 people like coffee. I can't half it because I don't know that for sure. Also, I'm going to be halving a person if I halved it. And I don't think they would like that very much. 8 of the men do not like coffee. So 8 men are here. 8 men do not like coffee. What number now do we know goes up here then? What number do we now know goes up here? Slow down, hen. Brilliant. If this value and this value need to add together, good from Jazz, good M, well done. Everlasting, not quite, because that 61 is for those two. The 8 isn't involved in that. Yeah, we're doing 32, take away 8. Well done, little cuboid. Well done, Shan. Rain's just said kettle. Great. 24. Well done. And now that we know that's 24, now we can see what this one needs to be. So we're going to do 61, take away the 24. 61, take away 24. Now, remember, when we're subtracting, if you've got more on the floor, you're going to borrow from next door. So 1 take away 4, I'm going to change that to 11 take away 4, which is 7, and 5 take away 2, which is 3. So I now know that this one has to be 37 to get the 61 people that like coffee. And what's my final number? What's my final missing number in this? Because the 61 was not involving the 8. The 61 was just the people that liked coffee. So it was just these two circles. The 8 was nothing to do with the 61. Oh, hit my microphone. Sorry about that. Good, Adil. Good what? Good what? 11. Well done. So now I'm just doing 48, take away the 37, because we know that these two need to add to make 48. And these two need to add to make 32. And these two need to add to make that. So we've done it. We've done it. All complete. And that gets us 3 marks. Oh, so much positivity in the chat. People hyping each other up. I love that. It's 11 because I know that 37 add 11 is what we need to make 48. So 48 take away 37 is 11. Okay, for part B, it says one of the people who like coffee is chosen at random. Now that is so important. We are only picking from people who like coffee. How many people liked coffee? We're only picking out of those people. We're only picking out of those people. We are only picking the people that liked coffee. How many people liked coffee? Okay, lots of you not quite right in the chat. Sam, I think I saw you had the right answer though, so well done. It is out of 61. There are only 61 people that I can pick from here. There are only 61 people I can pick from. We are picking from the people who like coffee. So there was only 61 people I can pick from. Now, if I said I'm going to pick someone out of everybody, then it's going to be out of 80, right? I'm going to pick one person at random, then it's out of 80. But if I'm only picking from the people who like coffee, then it's out of 61. Find the probability that this person is a woman. So out of those 61 people, how many of them are women? And it's the 37, isn't it? So the answer for 2 marks is going to be 1 mark for your numerator, 1 mark for your denominator, is 37 out of 61. Well done if you said that. I know a lot of you said that early on, so well done. Sam, I know your answer was early on before I'd said it. Well done. Emma, well done. Hayley, well done. Beautiful question. We liked that, didn't we? Yeah, good. 5 marks. I'd be very happy if that came up on Friday. I don't know about the rest of you. Okay. Food Mart and Jan's store sell boxes of the same type of breakfast cereal. Each shop has a special offer. Which box of cereal is the better value for money? You must show you're working. So at Food Mart, we get 400 grams of cereal and they've got 20% off the normal price of £5. So if we're going to take 20% off, first we're going to say, well, £5 is 100%. How am I going to get to 20%? You can either divide by 5, because dividing 100% by 5 is going to get me straight to 20%, or I can find 10% and double it. 10% is going to be 50p. Because a £5 is 500 pennies. So dividing that by 10 is 50p. And then we're going to double it. And that is £1. So 20% is £1. So we're going to take that off. And that means we get 400 grams for £4 because we're taking one off of the price. So 20% is £1. So therefore we know that at Food Mart, we're going to get 400 grams for £4. Now at Jan's store, she's not going to give you any money off. She's going to give you a little bit extra. So she's actually going to give you 30% extra. Now 10% for Jan, we want to do 10% of 400, and that's going to be 40 grams. So if 10% is 40, then 30% is 120 grams. And she's going to give you that extra on top. So she's going to say you can have 520 grams, that's 400, add the extra 120, 520 grams for £5. Great. Now, it's hard to compare at the minute between those two because we've got different prices and we've got different amounts of grams. So we need to make one of these the same. Now, I've got £5 on this side and I've got £4 on this side. It's going to be easiest for me to find out how much £1 gets me at each store. So at Jan's store, £1 gets me, I'd need to divide by 5. So I'm also going to divide the grams by 5. And that is 104 grams. On this side, if I want to know how much £1 gets me, I've divided the price by 4. So I've also got to divide the grams by 4. And that gets me 100 grams. At the minute, we're only going to get 3 marks. We need to answer the question. So the question says, which box of cereal is better value for money? And at Jan's, we're getting a little bit extra for our money. So Jan's store is better value. Jan wins, yeah. Can you do it again? I'm going to ace this exam. Does the Queen not read my comment? I read it! How did I divide by 5? So dividing by 5, I just did 500 divided by 5 and 20 divided by 5. But if you wanted to, you could have done that with the bus stop method. So 520 divided by 5. How many 5s go into 5? That goes in once. 5 into 2 doesn't go. Carry the 2. 5 into 20 goes 4 times. Yeah, don't skip it. That's so true. That's so true. So you could also say £5 at this shop would get you 500 grams, which is going to be less than here, isn't it? Very, very true. It is kind of confusing. If you ask, will they give you the equipment you need? Yes. Please don't be scared of the invigilators. Put your hand up, say, can I have some tracing paper? Or put some hand up and ask for things, okay? Mr. Crawford? We don't need Mr. Crawford. Although big up Mr. Crawford if he's a good maths teacher. Is he a good maths teacher? Don't be scared of the invigilators. Honestly, someone came out of their mock the other day and said, oh, I needed a ruler, but I didn't want to ask the invigilator, so I just used a fork. He had a wooden fork in his pocket, so he just used that. Unbelievable. Just ask invigilators. They're not that scary. That's what they're there for, to help you. I know they are a bit scary, but just ask them. Okay, question number 19. Yeah, tracing paper. Someone said, tracing paper. It's in my drawer. Hang on. There we go. Imagine if I'd run out of tracing paper at this crucial time of the year. I'd have to go and use some baking paper from the kitchen. Right, there we go. Now, this is going to be tricky on an iPad, so you have to bear with me, because my iPad does not like tracing paper. It glitches and does all sorts, but you'll have to bear with me. We're going to rotate shape A 180 degrees around the point 10. So you're going to put your tracing paper... You see what I mean? Hates me. You're going to put your tracing paper on top of the image, and you're going to draw around that shape. Now, to rotate it 180 degrees means to turn it until, I like to do an arrow on it, and then you're going to turn that arrow. For 90 degrees, you'd want the arrow facing sideways. For 180 degrees, it's going to go upside down, which is why they haven't said clockwise or anti-clockwise, because it doesn't matter. If you go clockwise or anti-clockwise, it doesn't matter. So we're rotating it 180 degrees around the point 10. Now, the point 10 is here. It's across 1, up nothing. So here we go. 10 is here. And then we're going to rotate that 180 degrees. It is not going to like it. I'm just going to have to, hang on. There you go. And it's going to go down there. Oh, anyway, you'll have to take my word for it. It's down there. That's how you do it, okay? Draw around it. Lovely, wonderful. Everyone happy? Good. This is foundation, but the very next question, I think, was the first question on the higher paper. Where's Megan? Megan's normally in the comments to tell me. I think normally the very last question on foundation is normally only a foundation one. And it is indeed. So this one is just foundation. We'll do this one and then we'll switch to higher, because the start of the higher is going to be the rest of the questions on foundation. So hopefully that's going to be helpful. First Class Maths is in the chat over on YouTube. Go and say hi. And tell him how much you enjoy his papers, how great they are. This is November 2018, paper 1. Okay, the size of each interior angle of a regular polygon is 11 times the size of each exterior angle. Work out how many sides the polygon has. This is a really difficult question. Right, I'm going to draw a shape. Here we go. It's a massive shape. It's really, really, really big. It's going around like this. We don't know how many sides it's got. I've given you a little snippet of it, a bit of it, but I've not given you all of it. Now, what we are going to do is draw the interior angle and the exterior angle. So the exterior angle is formed when you carry on. So this is a really, really big shape, yeah? All of this is inside the shape. I've just drawn it so big that you can only see slightly the edge of it. Does that make sense? So therefore, the interior angle is this one. I don't want a highlighter, I want a pen. Oh. The interior angle is this one, and the exterior angle is this one. Okay, this is the very last question on the paper. Very much grade 5. Don't waffle. Thank you, Rita, for subscribing. Okay, so on the inside, we know that that is 11 times bigger than the one on the outside. So let's call the exterior angle X, and let's call the interior angle 11X. What do we know about the interior angle and the exterior angle? What do we know about both of those added together? What do they make? So therefore, how many degrees? Good. Well done, Jessie. Well done, Maisie. Well done, Sam. Yes, Zaynep, you're absolutely right. So we're going to add that up to make 180 degrees. I know that both of those added together, because they make a straight line, add up to 180. So 11x add x needs to equal 180. So 12x equals 180. So we need to do 180 divided by 12. But let's just make it a little bit easier. Let's divide both sides by 6. So let's make it 2x is equal to 30, because I think that's a bit easier. And then we can say x is 15. So the exterior angle is 15 degrees. And we know that all of the exterior angles of a shape need to add up to make 360. So how many 15 degrees would I need all the way around the shape for it to make 360? The 12 has come from because it's 11x add 1x. So we know that the 11x and the 1x make 12x. How many 15 degrees make 360? So 360 divided by 15, and you could simplify it if you wanted. You could divide it by 5. That might make your life a little bit easier, but that is going to be 24 sides. A very, very difficult question to end on. Yes. So at 8 o'clock, so I'm going to give you a 4-minute break. At 8 o'clock, we're going to start the higher paper. All of the rest of the questions are on the higher paper, and we're going to start that at 8 o'clock. So you've got a quick 4-minute break. I'm going to make myself a quick cup of tea. I'll be back at 8 o'clock, and we'll go through the rest of it, starting from question number 1 on the higher paper, because that was question 20 on the foundation paper. So the rest of this paper will be the rest of the foundation paper I'll be doing for probably the next 15, 20 minutes. And then I'll be starting back at 8 o'clock, starting on the higher paper. Fabulous. Right, see you in a minute. I'll pause it on here. I'll pause it on here. I don't know how to pause it. No, don't know. I'll see you in a minute anyway. You're not failing maths. No one's failing. We're all going to do this. We're all going to smash it. Right, let's get the higher one up ready. If I know where I put it. There she be. Okay, let's go. How much charge has my iPad got? 29 on the iPad. I think the iPhone's good. There are no answers. The answers are on YouTube. So if you're doing the paper that First Class Maths filmed, you'll need to go to First Class Maths' YouTube. And if you are doing the paper that I filmed, you'll need to go to my YouTube. Both First Class Maths papers, but they'll either say A or B on the front. So if they say A on the front, the answers will be on First Class Maths' YouTube. And if they say B on the front, then it'll be on my YouTube. So this is the crossover section. Yes, Edexcel November 2018. I'm not going to start at the back because I'm hoping to get through as many as I can. Towards the end, I might skip to a couple from the back. We'll see how far we get. We'll see how far we go in an hour. My YouTube is Hannah Kettle Maths, same as on here. Hannah Kettle Maths on TikTok and Hannah Kettle Maths on YouTube. And then First Class Maths is First Class Maths 1ST, First Class Maths. And he's got more predicted papers on his website as well. Okay, let's do it. Yeah, we're doing the higher, but it's also the end of the foundation. Okay, Taylor, you've got this. What question does foundation end on? Very good question. It was... That one wasn't on it, was it? That one wasn't. That one was... Oh, I'm going to have to check now. Megan normally knows. Megan, where are you? No, we're doing non-calculator. So we had that one. We had that one. Oh, so I should have done that tree diagram one as well. So I might, yeah. That one. End of foundation. And then when we get there, you guys will know to leave. Yeah, that does say foundation. All right, don't judge me. Okay, question number 1. Let's start this thing. Write the value of 3 to the power of 7 times 3 to the power of minus 2, all divided, thank you, by 3 to the power of 3. So let's sort out that numerator first. When we're multiplying, we're adding the powers. When we're multiplying, we're adding the powers. So this is going to be 3 to the power of 5 divided by 3 to the power of 3. And when we divide, we take away the powers. So that's going to be 3 squared. So 7 add minus 2, that's how we got 5. And then 3 squared. However, it says work out the value of, and that's going to make us put 9 as our answer. Okay, 9 is the answer. If it says work out the value of, actually work it out. Okay, yeah, good. It is 3 squared and it is 9. Well done. Well done, Lucas. Well done, Chantel. There's no leak. Every year, every single year as teachers, students come up to us and go, someone's leaked the paper. No one's leaked the paper, okay? Just if you believe it, it's clickbait. Stop it. This is higher, but it's also the end of foundation now, okay? Okay, v squared equals u squared, add 2as. Work out the value of v. So we know that u is 12, a is minus 3, and s is 18. So I'm going to do v squared equals 12 squared, add 2 times minus 3 times 18. So all I'm doing with substitution is changing the values to be the numbers that it says that they are. So v squared is 12 squared, add 2 times 3 minus 3 times 18. So with BibMaths, or with we know we need to do this bit. So v squared is 144, that's 12 squared. Add, now 18 times 3, that's 54. Times by 2, that's 108. So this is minus 108. And you could do 2 times 3, which is 6, and then 18 times 6, and then you could make it minus. So that is minus 108. This is the end of foundation, but also the start of higher. It is November 2018, paper 1. Now, if we are adding a negative number, we are taking it away. So 144, take away 108. And if there's more on the floor, remember to borrow from next door. So 4 take 8, we can't do that. We're going to borrow from here. 14 take 8 is 6. 3 take 0 is 3. And 1 take 1 is nothing. So that is 36. So we're now left with v squared equals 36. And it says work out a value of v. And there's a little bit of a hint there that there's actually more than one answer to this. There are two numbers that when you square them equal 36. So there are two different answers you can have here. Yeah, well done from Jazz. Yeah, great. Jules as well. Gabriella, well done. It is 6 or minus 6, exactly that. And it just said work out a value of v. So if you put 6, that's absolutely right. But also you could have had minus 6 as well. So either of those would have been absolutely fine. I would encourage you not to write two answers on the answer line unless there are two answers. But if you're not sure what the answer is and you write two, as an examiner, we have to give you the less number of marks. So that question's a bad example. But let's say on this one, you weren't sure and you were like 2, 5, then the examiner has to give you whichever one scores less. So don't guess, okay? Have a go. You can guess, but put one that you think it is rather than guessing 2. Because if you put 2, examiners have to mark you down. Okay, make S the subject to the formula. So when we change the subject to the formula, same with when we're solving, I like to put a dotted line where the equals is. And what we do to one side, we're going to do to the other. So I would like to make S the subject of the formula. So I'm trying to get this S on its own and everything else on the other side. I'm going to start by getting this term on its own. And I'm going to do that by minusing u squared from both sides. So I've got v squared minus u squared on the left equals 2as. Rico, if you go on Maths Genie and go to Edexcel exam papers, it's November 2018, paper 1. It's definitely on Maths Genie because that's where I got it from. Good. Now, some of you are saying take away 2a. And if it was 2a add s, I would agree with you. But what is the relationship between 2a and s? What is the relationship here? We're not taking away 2a, we're dividing by 2a. Good. Because 2a is multiplying here with s, to split them up, we need to divide both sides by 2a. Well done, everybody saying that in the comments. Brilliant. So it's going to be v squared minus u squared over 2a equals s. And that is your answer. Now, some of you won't like it that way round, so I'll switch it back. S equals v squared minus u squared over 2a. This is the higher paper, but it's also the end of the foundation paper. What's the grade boundary like? The grade boundary for this paper was, we'll need to divide these by 3. So for a 5, well, for a 4, we're going to need, quick maths, 13 marks, let's say. 13 marks for a grade 4, 22 for a 5, 32 for a 6, and so on. You can divide by 3 if you're getting those grades higher up. You can do those ones yourself. Yeah, so I've written on the paper when the foundation ones end. Okay, great. Let's carry on. So 13 marks to pass, 13 marks to get a 4, and we've already had 6 marks there. So yeah, it's low because the paper was quite tricky. So right, classic. We've got a 5 marker around question 3, and it's going to involve percentages, ratios, things like that. Okay. A bonus of £2,100 is shared by 10 people who work for a company. 40% of the bonus is shared equally between 3 managers, and the rest is shared equally between the 7 salesmen. One of the salesmen says, if the bonus is shared equally between all 10 people, I will get 25% more money. Is the salesman correct? So we've got so many marks available here. So many possible marks. Don't let this overwhelm you, okay? This is a 5 marker, but we've got so much stuff that we can do here. So I'm going to start by saying 2,100 is shared equally by 10 people. So in scenario 1, 40% needs to go to the managers. So if we've got £2,100, then 10%, let me lay that out a bit better, sorry. 10% is £210. Remember, to get 10%, we're dividing by 10. And then if we want 40%, we can times that by 4, and that is £840. So the managers will get that. And we can divide that by 3 to find out what the managers get, but we don't really care. We need the rest of the money, which is the 60%. So here you can either get 60% by taking the 840 away from 2,100, or you can just get 60% of 2,100, and we're going to get that by timesing this by 6. So that's going to be 1,260. And we're going to share that equally between the 7 salesmen. So I'm going to do 1,260 divided by 7. How many 7s go into 1? Well, it doesn't fit in. How many 7s go into 12? It fits in 1 whole time, remainder 5. And how many 7s go into 56? That is 8. No, I won't do AQA after. I think 2 hours of live maths revision is sufficient for me. I will probably still do Edexcel tomorrow, just because it's the exam board that I examine for. It's also the one that is most common in the country. So probably just do Edexcel tomorrow as well. I might be tempted to do AQA, but no, probably not. And then 7 into 0 goes 0 times. It's still going to be helpful no matter what. It's all going to be really similar content. Okay, so the salesman in the original way gets £180. That's how much he's going to get in that method. He's saying, let's just divide it by 10. I'm going to get more that way. So let's do it that way. £2,100. If we just divide that by 10, he's going to get £210. Certainly easier to do it that way. He's now saying that if we do it that way, it's going to be 25% more. So I think the easiest way to see is to get 25% of 180 and add it on and see what it gets. So the easiest way to get 25% is to divide it by 4, because it's a quarter, and that's going to be £45. So is he getting an extra £45? So 180 add 45 is £225. And he's not getting that, is he? It's November 2018, paper 1. Perfect. So no, we need to answer his question. So remember, with all of these questions, at the minute, we've only got 4 marks. To get that 5th mark, we need to answer their question. Oh, thank you for subscribing. Sorry, I missed that. Thank you so much. How many subscribers are we on now? 86 subscribers on TikTok. And I think I'm up to like 5,500 or something on YouTube, which is mental. Thank you so much, guys. It means the world. So, no, he's wrong. He does not get an extra 25%. He's got less. So how did I get 25%? 25% is a quarter. So we got that by dividing by 4, halving it and halving it again. If you weren't sure, you need to divide by 4 like this. 180 divide by 4. If someone's trying to make PDF viewer work, if you just click the oh no, maybe I'm not gonna try and help you. I feel like I'll just do this. I'll be quiet. Okay, question number 4. It would take 120 minutes to fill a swimming pool. Oh, hang on. Did anyone have any questions on this one? I feel like it was quite a lot. So, oh, you used they're not my papers. They're first class maths papers. You used them in school today. That's so cool. Someone said they went to London and one of my papers was on the floor. One of the first class maths papers was on the floor. Absolutely bonkers. With my little logo on the front. It blows my mind. We're still doing the foundation paper. Yeah, we're still doing the foundation paper. It's the end of the foundation paper and the start of the higher paper. Tomorrow, I think we voted and it was June 2019. For tomorrow. Someone said, are you from Yorkshire? Do I sound like I'm from Yorkshire? I don't think so. It would take 120 minutes to fill a swimming pool using water from 5 taps. So 5 taps equals 120 minutes. How many minutes would it take to fill the pool if only 3 of the taps are used? So on these questions, you need to get 1 tap. Always on these questions, these are proportion. You need to always think about 1. He shouldn't be in. That is so funny. Someone said this guy shouldn't be in sales. Yeah, you're right. He really shouldn't. So 1 tap. How long would it take if you only had 1 tap running? Now think about this logically. A lot of you will be tempted to divide by 5 here. A lot of you are going to divide by 5 here. Is it going to take less time? Think about the context of the question, right? Almost all of you will divide by 5, but we've got to go the other way. If this was 5 chocolate bars is £120, okay, they're expensive chocolate bars, but you get the point, then you would be dividing to get 1. But because we are talking about something filling it up, context is so important. Exactly that. If we're building a wall or building a house or doing something, then to get 1 tap, we are dividing this side by 5, but that means it's going to take 5 times longer. So it's actually going to take 600 minutes. I don't know. He is in the TikTok chat. So I'm trying to bully my husband into doing a chemistry revision for you all. And I think he's going to do you can ask him nicely. See if he'll do a little, what's it called? Like a takeover. A chemistry takeover on Hannah Kettle Maths on Sunday night. What do you reckon? Should we bully him into it? So 3 taps. Oh, I'm at it now. Is going to be dividing by 3. So that's going to be 200 minutes, and that would be your answer. So if you've got less taps running, it's going to take longer. And if you've got more taps running, it's going to take less time. What assumption have we made? What assumption have we made here? We've just treated all the taps like they're as efficient as each other. We've said all these taps. Hannah, that is a perfect answer. We've used the word rate. That's absolutely perfect. So we've assumed that all taps flow at the same rate. Well done. Brilliant answer. We've assumed that all taps flow at the same rate. You're right. This is inverse proportion. I think you just need to think about the context of the question. It's really hard to go the opposite way, but think logically, is it going to take more time or is it going to take less time? If you've got less taps, it's going to take longer. Same time tomorrow, 7 to 8 for foundation, 8 till 9 for higher. Okay, a plane travels at a speed of 213 miles per hour. So it goes 213 miles in 1 hour. Work out an estimate for the number of seconds the plane takes to travel 1 mile. So if we know that it's going to go 213 miles in 1 hour, but we're estimating. So let's just make this a little bit easier and say it's going to go 200 miles in 60 minutes. And we know that when we're estimating, we round everything to one significant figure. Abby, I like maths too. So 200 miles in 60 minutes. Now we're trying to get 1 mile in seconds, okay? So now let's change it into seconds. 200 miles in 3,600 seconds. 60 minutes is 3,600 seconds. We go to times by 60 to go from minutes to seconds. Hang on, Rico. I'm going to find it for you. Look, I'm kind like that. Let me find it. Here we go. That one. That one. Can I copy a link into the chat? I don't know. Let's see. Only one way to find out. There you go. Click that, Rico. You're all good. Good. So now we know we're going 200 miles in 3,600 seconds. And you guys know that speed is distance divided by time. So we're going to do 1 mile. Oh, hang on, let's get that first. 1 mile, we're dividing by 200. Oh, no, we don't even need to do that. 1 mile, we've divided by 200 here, so I'm going to divide by 200 here. Now, you guys will know because I say it 3,000 times. 3,600 divided by 200. If you have a division that you don't like, write it as a fraction. I'm just trying to go from hours to seconds. That's why I times by 60, or times by 60 and times by 60 again. You can write it as a fraction and then you can just simplify it. So that's the same as 36 over 2, and that is 18 seconds. Happy with that? So just work it through. We just need to move to that. The crossover is not almost done. I'm afraid there are 2 more questions. We need to go up to the end of question 7 for the crossover bit. Is your answer to part A an underestimate or an overestimate? Now, we said the distance was less than it actually was. The distance was rounded down. So we said it could go less far than it actually did in an hour. So therefore, our estimate for the number of seconds is too high. It's an overestimate. It will travel more than a mile in 18 seconds. Okay, question number 6. I love these so much. So with these, we're either making the numbers in front of the x's the same or the numbers in front of the y's the same. So my advice would always be to make the numbers in front of the y's the same. So if I'm making both of these the same, the easiest thing to do is going to be to make them both 3y. So I'm going to times the top one by 3 and times the bottom one by 1. Just keep it the same. So I'm going to times everything on the top by 3. That is 15x add 3y equals 63. And x minus 3y equals 9. I've not done anything to the bottom equation. I've just kept it the same. So then I'm going to turn that into a big sum. And we're either going to add or we're going to subtract. And here we are going to add. The reason we are adding is because we want to cancel these out. So if it's minus 3y and plus 3y, and we're trying to cancel them out, then we're going to add them. So that's 16x is equal to 72. And then we need to divide both sides by 16. So if I divide that side by 16 and divide that side by 16, we're doing 72 divided by 16. Now, remember I've said that if you don't like it, just write it as a fraction and then you can simplify it. So that's going to be 36 over 8, which is 18 over 4, which is 9 over 2, which is 4.5. So x here in this question is 4.5. So x is 4.5. Did I go the wrong way? Everyone's not happy with me. Hang on a minute. Did I go the wrong way? I do not like those questions. Hang on a minute. Let's work it out. So if a plane travels, we've gone, so speed, distance, time, and we're trying to work out 1 mile. So how the number of seconds. So we're working out the time. We're working out this, which is distance divided by speed. If we've rounded the distance down, work out an estimate. The number of seconds a plane. Yeah, if we've rounded the distance down, it's an underestimate, isn't it? I'm so sorry, everybody. If the distance is lower, distance divided by speed, yeah, underestimate. I didn't divide by a smaller number. I divided by a bigger number. Did I? No, you're right. I was right. You all made me doubt myself. We did 3,600 divided by 200. Now, when you divide by a smaller number, it gets bigger. I was right. I shouldn't listen to you all. When you divide by a smaller number, it gets bigger. So I was right how I had it. It was an overestimate. 3,600 divided by 200 is bigger than 3,600 divided by 213. That's probably the easiest way to explain it. So if you are dividing by a smaller number, that gets bigger. If you imagine I had a cake and I divided it between loads of people, sharing it with less people is going to get me more cake. I rounded the 213 down, but then I divided by that number. So we're dividing by 200 instead of dividing by 213. I was right. Okay. X is 4.5. I wanted to check though. You all started going in the comments like I'd done something. Anyway. Right, X is 4.5. How am I now going to get Y? How am I now going to get Y? How do I now get Y? I know what X is. How am I going to now work out what Y is? You're going to go back to either of the original question and put it in. So 5x add y is 21, but we now know that x is 4.5. So I'm going to do 5 lots of 4.5. Now 4.5 multiplied by 5 is 25. 5 times 4 is 20, add the 2. So that is 22.5. 22.5 add y is 21. What would I need to add to y to get 21? You can take 22.5 away from both sides if you would like. So y is minus 1.5. That is what you would need to put here in order to get down to 21. Well done if you said minus 1.5. Any questions on that one? Why have we times by 3? So always the aim of the game is to make these numbers the same. So in my equation at the top there, I wanted to make these numbers the same. And the easiest way to do that was just to times the top equation all the way across by 3, so that I had 3y and minus 3y. This is the end of foundation and the beginning of higher. Yeah, we're doing the crossover questions. Thank you guys in the comments for helping me out. Wonderful. Okay. The diagram shows a square ABCD. So this is the last one on the foundation paper. If you're foundation and you're still here, well done. You've been revising for almost an hour and a half now, so well done. Someone said, can they screenshot 6? Yes, you can, although I did it a bit messy. Yeah, so there's always a crossover. So because you can get a grade 4 and a grade 5 on both foundation and higher, there'll be a proportion of grade 4 and grade 5 questions that are available on both papers, and you get the same questions. So this is the hardest question on foundation. The diagram shows a square ABCD with sides of length 20. It also shows a semicircle and an arc of a circle. AB is the diameter of a semicircle. AC is an arc of a circle with centre B. Show that the area of the shaded region divided by the area of the square is pi over 8. Okay, so this is a really, really, really difficult question, but you can all get marks on this. So firstly, this is a square. So I know that if it's 20 going across the bottom, it's also going to be 20 going up the side. Every single one of you can work out the area of the square. No matter whether you're doing foundation or higher, every single one of you can work out the area of the square. It is base times height. So you know that the area of the square is 20 times 20. So the square is 20 times 20, which is 400 centimeters squared. You're doing 2 times 2 and then making it 10 times bigger, 10 times bigger. There we go. The next bit we're going to work out is actually this quarter circle. And it's a quarter of a circle that would be like that big, if you're visualizing it with me. Are we all with me? So that purple shape is a quarter of a circle that has a radius of 20. So to get the area of this, I'm going to do pi times the radius squared divided by 4. So the area of a circle is pi r squared. And if you just want all of this, that is a quarter of that circle. It's a sector, exactly. So we're going to do pi times 20 squared divided by 4, because I just want a quarter of a circle. So pi times 20 squared is pi times 400, which is 400 pi divided by 4, which is 100 pi. We're not actually going to times by pi. We're just going to leave the pi next to it, because we haven't got a calculator on this question, so we're just going to leave it in terms of pi. And we can see that they've got pi in their answer, so that's all good. The next thing I'm going to work out, let's do it in a different colour, let's do it in green, is this semicircle here. And that semicircle is half of a circle, but the radius of that would only go to the middle. If you picture that green circle, if it was complete, it would look like that. So the radius on that is going to be 10. So pi times 10 squared, and this is half a circle, so we're going to divide it by 2. So that is 100 pi divided by 2, which is 50 pi. To get this funny little wavy shape, that is going to be the purple one, take away the green one. So that's going to be 100 pi. So that funny little wave shape. Oh, sorry. How have I done that? There you go. That funny little wave shape, that is going to be 100 pi, take away 50 pi. And 100 pi, take away 50 pi is 50 pi. And now what they've asked me to do is the area of the shaded region. That's 50 pi out of the total area of the square, which we said was 400. And if you simplify that, you can divide the top by 50 and the bottom by 50, which makes it pi over 8. There we go. So people asking about grade boundaries. So grade boundaries for this paper, you can get them on MathSpot. I put them up a bit ago. I'll put them up again a bit. Taylor, 400 has come from the fact that we've got a square, and we're going to get base times height to get the area of that square, 20 times 20. No one knows what the grade boundaries are going to do until we've sat the paper. If nationally you find the paper difficult, the grade boundaries will go down. And if nationally you find the paper easy, the grade boundaries will go up. But until you guys sit the paper, we have no idea what the grade boundaries are going to do. All you can do is look at the averages. So I showed you guys MathSpot. So if you go all years on MathSpot, you can see for higher, for foundation, what generally tends to be a pass or a fail or whatever, or however many marks you need. So on average, out of 240, you need 129 for a 7. But in recent years, it has been a bit higher for a 7. So there we go. So you can do annotations in the exams in different colours, but please remember that we do not mark your physical papers. They get scanned in. So I'm a GCSE examiner, and I will mark your GCSEs on my computer. They all get scanned in. They don't get posted. That would be ridiculous. They get scanned into a computer. And then I will get 5,000 question 3s, and I will sit and mark through them. I never see who they belong to. That's just how they're marked. So just remember they're scanned in. If you highlight things, it basically grays it out. So you can highlight the question, but don't ever highlight your answer, please. If that makes any sense. Okay. I don't ever see your names. Right. Well done, foundation. That's you done. We're going to carry on with higher, and we're going to do exact values. Now, this could also be on foundation, but there we go. Exact values. Now, there are lots of different ways to remember your exact values. You're so welcome, guys. I'll be on live again tomorrow as well, if I've still got a voice by tomorrow. We'll see you soon. Well done, everybody. Write down the exact value of tan 45. Now, for exact values, I personally just remember the two triangles. So I remember this triangle. I find that one easy to remember. If you've got a right angled triangle that's 1 and 1, I might turn my lights off now. I think that might make a difference now. Hang on. Oh, is that better? I think that actually is better on YouTube. Tell me what you think, but I actually think that's better on YouTube. Okay, so that's one triangle that I remember. And the other triangle that I remember is 60, 30, 1, 2, root 3. There's lots of ways to remember it. You can do like a table of values that you can remember that. You can Google exact values and remember them. But personally, I just remember those two because then you can work anything out using SOHCAHTOA. So they've asked us for tan 45. Let's do a few of these because I think this is really likely to come up on Friday. So if I want tan 45, remember SOHCAHTOA. So if you want tan 45, tan is the opposite over the adjacent. So if I'm here, tan 45, the opposite over the adjacent is 1 divided by 1. So the answer to that is 1. If you wanted sine 30, we know sine is the opposite over the hypotenuse, so 1 over 2. If you want cos 30, it's the adjacent over the hypotenuse, so root 3 over 2. If you want, thank you for resubscribing, Lizzie. If you want tan 60 is the opposite over the adjacent. So root 3 over 1, which is just root 3. So then you can literally do any of them if you just remember those. And I would just memorize them and write them. As soon as you get in the exam, write them down straight away. And then you can just work anything else out. Okay. They tell you cos 60 here, but that's all good. Here is a right angled triangle. Cos 60 is 0.5. Work out the value of x. So if we want the value of x, that's the hypotenuse. And we've got the adjacent here. And we don't know the opposite, and we don't want to know the opposite, so it's not involved in this question. So we can see that we want the hypotenuse, we've got the adjacent, so that's going to be ka. Of SO, ka, and TOA, ka is the one that involves the A and the H, and I've said ka, and I've written SO. For what reason? I think I must have said SO as I was writing it. Ka, there we go. Cover up the thing you want to know and do the sum that's left behind. So I'm going to cover up the hypotenuse, and that's going to be A divided by C. So that's the adjacent 4 divided by. Now remember that if you're using SO, the S is sine 60. If you're using ka, it's cos 60 or whatever the angle is. And if you're using TOA, it's tan 60. So in this case, the C is cos 60. So we've got to do 4 divided by cos 60. But they know we haven't got a calculator. So you would be expected to know cos 60. Cos 60 is the adjacent 1 over the hypotenuse 2. But they've also told us that it's a half up here. So we're doing 4 divided by a half, or 4 divided by 0.5, or 4 divided by a half, however you want to write it, whichever way makes more sense to you. Now remember, when we divide by a fraction, it's the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. So 4 divided by a half is the same as 4 times 2 over 1. Keep, change, flip. And that is going to be 8. It doesn't make sense for the hypotenuse to be smaller. It's going to be longer because we know the hypotenuse is the longest side of a triangle. With this method, you want to make the denominator 1. So that's going to be 8 over 1. So exact values, expect them to come up. They're pretty likely. Okay, question number 9, and we've got a cumulative frequency graph. So remember, for a cumulative frequency, if you're having to draw a cumulative frequency, so if you're wanting common topics for Friday on my YouTube, I don't know if it will let me see it if I'm live at the same time now. Oh yeah, look, there I am, live. Woo, go me. Top 5 topics for the non-calculated paper on Friday. There is a 23-minute video there with a booklet. I uploaded it yesterday. So if you want to go and have a watch of that, I've already got top 10 topics for the calculator paper there, but we're a little bit early on that one because obviously you've got non-calculator on Friday, but that is there if you do want to watch it. Okay, where was I? Cumulative frequency. Now, for cumulative frequency, you're plotting at the top of the category. You're plotting at the top of the category. So in a, thank you, Georgina. Love your channel. Love that. Thank you so much. The aesthetic is very important to me. So we're going to plot at the top of the category. They've already drawn it for us though, and we should get a smooth S-curve. It normally looks a little bit more S-y, like that, but here we've got it looking like this. The times that 48 trains left the station on Monday were recorded. The cumulative frequency graph gives information about the numbers of minutes the trains were delayed, correct to the nearest minute. So the shortest delay was 0 minutes, and the longest delay was 42 minutes, and we need to draw a box plot. So for a box plot, there are 5 things that you need to worry about. We need to draw the lowest value. We need to draw the highest value. Now, they've just given us those in the question there. We also need to draw the median. That's going to be in the middle. We then need the lower quartile, which is the bottom of the box, and the upper quartile, which is the top of the box. So we've got 5 things to get. Now, on our graph, I'm going to get the median, I'm going to get the interquartile range, and I'm going to get, the median, the lower quartile, and the upper quartile. Don't be fooled by the fact that it goes up to 50 and read across at 25. There were 48 pieces of data. So for the median, I need to read across at 24. Oh, hang on, let me get my head in here. 24 is there. Hit the graph and go down. So the median is in the middle of the data, and we can see that the median is going to be 10. For the lower quartile, you need to go halfway between the middle and the bottom. So half of 24 is 12. So we're going to read across at 12, hit the graph and go down, and I get 4 for that. And for the upper quartile, again, we're going to read across in the middle of 24 and 48, and that's going to be 36. And that is 20. So now I've got all the values, I'm going to draw my box plot. So I know that the median is at 10. Oh, I should really be using a ruler, shouldn't I? Let's be better. The median is at 10. The lower quartile is at 4. The upper quartile is at 20. And the highest value is at 42. Blimey. They were late. And the shortest delay was 0. We're going to join up the middle 3, make a box, and then kick your tails out. It used to be called a box and whisker plot. You rarely hear it called that anymore. These don't feel like GCSEs. I promise you, they very much are. There we go. So that's our box plot. All correct. If you were ever asked for the interquartile range, it is the upper quartile, take away the lower quartile. So in this case, that would be 16. It's the size of the box. Also, another good thing to note, so you should do it in pencil, but make sure you do it nice and clearly in pencil. Make sure it's not like the faintest line you've ever seen, because that's really hard to read when it gets scanned in. 25% of the data is between here and here. 25% of the data is here. 25% of the data is here, and 25% of the data is here. But we don't know where within it is from that graph. We don't know if it's equally spread out or not, because the data is grouped and we don't have the original data, which makes it tricky. Okay, 48 trains left the station on Tuesday, and here's some information about the delays. Compare the distribution. Now, this is a classic question for 2 marks. We've got 2 things to say. First thing we want to say is on average. So firstly, you want to compare the medians. On average, the delays on Monday were longer because the median was higher. So we can see the median on Monday was 10 minutes. The median on Tuesday was 9 minutes. So on average, there were more delays, or the delays were longer on Monday. And then you want to compare a spread. Now we can see either the range or the interquartile range. Either of those is absolutely fine to talk about. You can choose either. I think I'm going to talk about the interquartile range just because I think it's a bit more interesting. So if you look at the size of this box, that's the interquartile range. And if you look at the size of this box, that's the interquartile range. And a bigger interquartile range means that it's more spread out. And a smaller interquartile range means that it's more consistent. So the second thing I'm going to say is that the delays on Monday were more varied because bigger interquartile range. You can just write IQR. They'll know what you mean. Make sense? Mary says the longest delay on Tuesday was 33 minutes. This means that there must be some delays of between 25 and 30 minutes. Is Mary correct? Now, we know that there's 48 trains here. It says there are 48 trains. So we know 48 divided by 4, there's 12 trains in this bit, somewhere dotted along this bit. There's 12 trains here. They all must be really close together, really similar times. There's 12 trains here, and there's 12 here. You know that one of them is here. One of them has to be on that line. But the other 11 might all be down here. We've got absolutely no idea. Or they could all have been 33. She's saying that some of them must have been between here and here, but we have no idea. Is integration on here by any chance? I have no clue. No, integration would not come up on GCSE. Integration's just on I think it is on the FSMQ, the further maths qualification, and also at A level, but not on GCSE. So no, she's wrong. We don't have the original data. We don't know. I'm not going to write it. I'm going to move on. But no, she's wrong because we don't have the original data to know. They might have all been between 12 and 20, with the exception of the one up there. So you don't know. Okay, question number 10. Someone said she's taking the P, and I hope you're talking about Mary, not about me. 10a, simplify x minus 1 over 5 lots of x minus 1 squared. Now, when you're squaring a bracket, you're multiplying it by itself. Speedy. So Speedy said, why do all the questions seem like I've done them before? Now I'm bored of solving them. Is that normal? Yeah, if you're bored of solving them, great, you're ready. Because that means you're so confident, you know what you're doing, and you're like, yeah, okay, I've done this before, I know what to do. Oh, this one was a nice question. Right, 10a. So I've got x minus 1 on the top of the fraction, and on the bottom, I've got 5 times x minus 1 squared, which means you're going to times it by itself. Now, when we simplify, you don't want to times this out. Did I skip a question? Oh, no, I just spoke it rather than writing it because I feel like you guys don't need to see me write. I just said it out loud. I thought I missed a question. This is higher. So we're going to divide by the top and divide by the bottom, and we're dividing both of them by x minus 1. So dividing the top by x minus 1 leaves us with 1. Dividing the bottom by x minus 1 leaves us with 5x minus 1. And you can't do anything more. You need to find a common factor, and factorized is more helpful for finding a common factor. Okay, then factorize fully, 50 minus 2y squared. So if they've got something in common, I'm going to take that outside. So they've got 2 in common. So we're going to put 25 minus y squared. Am I done? The factorize fully is a clue. This can be factorized more. You can't get rid of the 1 because it's on the top. If the 1 was on the bottom, then you can just get rid of it. But that's like saying a half is the same as 2 over 1, and it isn't. That's entirely different. You can't just get rid of that and say it's 2. That's a different thing. So if the 1 is on the bottom, you can get rid of it, but if it's on the top, you can't. So now I'm going to factorize this, and that's 2 lots of 5 minus y, 5 plus y. It's actually the difference of 2 squares. Doesn't happen very often. Yeah, well done, Jules. Doesn't happen very often. But yeah, it can happen. Why don't we expand the 5x minus 1? So because factorized is better for cancelling. You want to see if there are any common factors, and that's easier to see when this when they've got them when it's factorized, how much they've got them in common. Not much difference between Edexcel and that. Right, that's a bit of a rogue question. I'm tempted to switch towards the end of the paper. Right, it's going to come up. I can feel it in my bones. Let's do this one. We're going to root by the bottom, do the power of the top. We've only got 10 minutes left, so I'll pick a few key ones now, I think. We're going to root by the bottom and do the power of the top. What is the answer to this one, please? You're doing the fourth root and then cubing it. Fourth root and then cubing it. Yes, I'm doing this tomorrow as well. If my voice lasts, I'm on the honey and lemon already. And I sound like a man, but I always sound like a man, so. Chris, I will give you some time. So we're doing the fourth root, and then we're cubing it. So remember, for the fourth root, yes, the super potato, you've got it. Torpedo cubing, you've got cubing in your name, so I'm pleased that you've got it. Jules has got it, Nelson's got it, Zoe's got it, Abby's got it. Thank you, Spaghetti. Stefan, yeah, all good. Feeling more confident, Jessie, that makes me very, very pleased to see. People pick names, I don't know. The fourth root is saying something times something times something times something that makes 16. And for 81, something times something times something times something that makes 81. So that's going to be 2 over 3. And then we still need to cube it. 2 cubed is 8, well done. And 3 cubed is 27. Lots of you saying 8 over 27. So if you struggle with those, before Friday, make sure you do them. So again, I've got a whole video on that. It is negative and fractional indices. That's another really key one. It's got a booklet in the description. Another really key one for Friday. Good. This one was very, very mean. Shall I do it? How is it 2 over 3? So for 2 over 3, we've done the fourth root of 16 over 81. So you're doing something times something times something times something that makes 16. Yes, that is on YouTube. Hannah Kettle Maths. The predicted papers were written by First Class Maths. They are free. He goes through them on his YouTube and I go through them on my YouTube. Different papers. Yes, yes, yes. Let's do 14b. Okay. So 3 to the power of what would give me 1 over 9? Well, the only way to get it on the bottom of the fraction is if the power is negative. The only way to get it on the bottom of the fraction is if the power is negative. So what I know is that this power must be negative and it's being squared. So A must be -2 because a minus power makes it the reciprocal and we still need to square it. Not 3, it's not being times by 3, it's being squared. So A is -2. That's the first one. Now, for the second one, 3 to the power of B is 9 times root 3. Well, 9 is 3 squared, and root 3 is 3 to the power of what? The square root of 3 is 3 to the power of what? Three to the power of what? A half. Good. Well done, everybody. So 3 to the power of B is 3 squared times 3 to the power of a half. And therefore, we know that when we times, we add the powers. So that needs to be 2.5. B has to be 2.5 or 2.5. So 9 is 3 squared, and we're timesing that by root 3, and that's 3 to the power of a half. And then C, how would I get 3 to the power of C is 1 over root 3? Again, we've got that 1 over. So we know that this power must be a minus. And it's also being rooted. Well done, Clara. Absolutely perfect. Clara's saying -1/2. Yep, loads of you. S is saying that. M is saying that. -1/2. So C is -1/2. So altogether, they've asked us what is A add B add C, which is -2 add 2.5 minus 0.5. No, these questions would not come up in foundation, don't worry. And that is going to be answers. What is it going to be? Yes, Phoebe. Yeah, well done. 0. Good, well done. It is 0, well done. So -2 add 2.5 on minus. So people saying, so the square root of a number, so the square root of 3 is the same as 3 to the power of a half. So if it's on the bottom of the fraction, we know it's minus a half because minus is what puts it on the bottom. Only 2 marks, I know. Right. Scale factor, recurring decimals, further back. We got 6 minutes. Oh, this was a fun one, but a bit rogue. I'm wondering what's really likely to come up. Surds. It's gonna be there. Surds has come up on every single past paper non-calculator, I think. Okay, people saying the scale factor one as well. So shall I do the surds one and then I'll do the scale factor one? So I will do that one after. I'll do 20 and then I'll go back and do 15, okay? Surfs, love it. Right, okay. So root 18 add root 2 squared, all divided by root 8 minus 2. So we're squaring the top. Root 18 add root 2 squared is root 18 add root 2 times root 18 add root 2. And we're dividing that by root 8 minus 2. So let's just multiply this out first. Root 18 times root 18, when we times a surd by itself, it just becomes 18, or the number itself. Root 18 times root 2 is root 36. Root 2 times root 18 is another root 36. And root 2 times root 2, when you times a surd by itself, it's just 2. Now we know that the square root of 36 is 6. So this is 18, add 6, add 6, add 2, which is just 32. So already our question's looking a lot nicer. Now, some of you will be looking at root 8 and thinking I can simplify that. I'm going to leave it as it is until I'm done, and then I'll sort that out at the end. Now, we need to rationalise. You cannot leave a surd on the bottom of a fraction. So to rationalise, where did I get the 36 from? Because root 18 times root 2 is root 36. So if they're both in a root, 18 times 2 is 36. If they're both in a root, you can times them together and it's root 36. So to get rid of the surd from the bottom of the fraction, we need to rationalise. And that means we're going to times by root 8 add 2. And we're going to do the same thing. 32 times root 8 is 32 root 8. And 32 times 2 is 64. Divided by, now the whole reason we are doing this is because root 8 times root 8 is 8. Root 8 times 2 is 2 root 8. But then we've got minus 2 root 8. So the plus 2 root 8 and the minus 2 root 8 cancel. It's the difference of 2 squares, exactly that. So your plus 2 root 8 and your minus 2 root 8 cancel. So I don't even need to do that bit. I just need to do minus 2 times 2 as well. So root 8 times root 8 is 8. And minus 2 times 2 is minus 4. Okay. So I've now got 32 root 8 add 64 divided by 4. And I'm going to actually divide that by 4. And that leaves me with 8 root 8 add 16. But I'm not quite done. You can't leave root 8 as root 8 because the square root of 8 has a square number factor. So 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. These are our square numbers. So the square root of 8 can actually be written as the square root of 4 times the square root of 2. And the square root of 4 is 2. So root 8 is 2 root 2. So I'm going to take the 2 root 2 and I'm going to change root 8 to be 2 root 2. 8 lots of 2 root 2 is 16 root 2. Yes, Rebecca, this is higher tier. So 8 lots of 2 root 2 add 16 is 16 root 2 add 16. Now in the question at the top, they said put it in the form a b plus root 2. So I'm going to take 16 out and put root 2 add 1, and that would be your answer. I've got it the other way around, but 16, oh, let's not put it there. Let's put it over here. 16, 1 add root 2 would be my answer. Only 3 marks, I know. No, you need to write in pen in your exam. No, I'm not the maths watch woman, but I need to meet her, honestly, because apparently we sound identical. Right, it's 9 o'clock, but I'm feeling generous and my voice hasn't quite given out yet. So let's do this one. 3 solid shapes A, B, and C are similar. The surface area of A is 4 and the surface area of B is 25. Right, you've got your linear scale factor, your area scale factor, and your volume scale factor. If you have shapes, the scale factor between the edges and the scale factor between the areas and the scale factor between the volumes is different. The surface area of A is 4 and the surface area of B is 25. So let's do A, B, C. So the surface area of A to B is in the ratio 4 to 25. To get from the area scale factor to the linear scale factor, you square root. So that's going to be 2 to 5. Oh, Mia, off to watch your YouTube after this. Thank you, Mia. So to get from area scale factor to linear scale factor, you square root. To get from linear scale factor to volume scale factor, we're going to cube in a minute. The ratio of the volume to shape B to the volume of shape C is 27 to 64. So I'm going to put 27 here to 64 here, in which case we know that to get back to the linear scale factor from this, we need to cube root. So cube rooting that gives me, oh, I shouldn't have written it all so small in the corner, should I? So the linear scale factor here, cube root that's going to be 4 and cube root that is going to be 3. But now I've got a problem because my linear scale factor here is different. So it says work out the ratio of the height of A to the height of C. Now I know that the linear scale factor, which is the heights are going to be in linear ratio. A to B is 2 to 5 and B to C is 3 to 4. And I want these to be the same. So I'm going to turn to a number that's in both their times tables, and that's going to be 15. To get that, I've multiplied this one by 3. So I'm also going to times this one by 3, and that's 6. And for this, I've times by 5. I'm also going to times this by 5, and that is 20. So the ratio of A to C is going to be 6 to 20. But it says give that in your simplest form, and so that would be 3 to 10 for 4 marks. And breathe. Mr. Hayden, are you here? Right, that is it from me. Thank you so much. So there is lots more videos over on my YouTube. If you would like to go and watch, there's a higher playlist, there's a foundation playlist, lots of topics that come up, lots. Top 5 topics for the non-calculator paper there with a booklet in the comments. I probably would have a break. It's 9 o'clock now. You've all got exams. Well, some of you have got exams. Rebecca, thank you so much. That's so kind. Thank you so much, everybody. It's a pleasure to see you all, and I will see you all tomorrow. Drop me a comment if you drop me a message if you've got anything in particular that you desperately want me to do. But I think I'm going to be doing June 2019 because that's what was voted for last week when we did it. Bye. I hope you've all found it helpful. And if you've got no exams tomorrow, lucky you. But if you have, good luck. I wish you all the best. You will be great. Remember, exams do not define you. You can only do the best that you can. And yeah, I wish you all the very best with it. And I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you so much, guys. And I will see you soon. Bye.